of course, delighted to be here. I wasn't actually at the last event, so it's great to be here. We don't have much time, so I'm going to speak very quickly, but I'll hopefully get across the messages, but I'll be outside afterwards, so hopefully I'll be able to talk to lots of you. So I've been asked today to talk about what reaching my potential means. What does that mean to me? And Natasha spoke earlier about building your career. So I'm going to talk a bit about myself, and I'll sort of weave in some of those career experiences that I believe are part of reaching one's potential. And of course, for me, it's still a journey. It's a very long road, so that's really what it's about. So I'll be talking about really three things that I believe it's about. You know, as Natasha said, it's absolutely about being myself, and that is about knowing myself. But for me personally, and most importantly, is having the courage to really be myself. Secondly, it's about knowing really about being knowledgeable about the environment I'm working in, whatever that environment is, and knowing what that environment values and what the people in that environment values. And thirdly is really being really clear about what I want, and also being really open and honest with the people around me about what it is that I want for my career. So a very quick bit about me. I was born in Lagos in Nigeria. I lived there till I was 16. I speak 2 Nigerian languages, so I'm completely useless. I can't even order water in Europe and Asia, but in southwest Nigeria, I'm on fire. So if there are any Nigerians here, you can test me afterwards, as my parents still do. No, maybe not. So I speak Yoruba and I speak Idori, which I'm very proud of, but not very useful. So I moved to London when I was 16, and I'd like to say that I moved to London because there was a really meaningful, but actually it's because my older sister lived here and she's a fantastic cook. And my parents traveled a lot when I was younger, and they really wanted me to explore the broadening of my horizons as part of my education. So I came over and I went to school and I went to university and I did my master's in the UK. My first job is one place where I really learnt the importance of being myself. So my first job was a really difficult job in central London. It was as a building service graduate because I did mechanical engineering in university, and I was a resident engineer in a construction site. I was the only woman out of 400 construction professionals. I was the youngest, and actually I spent the first 6 months really trying to blend in, trying to be quite tomboyish, because I thought that's what I needed to do, trying to pretend that I like beer and football, 2 things that I really don't like, trying to speak a certain way and express myself a certain way. And then I had my first review with a manager who really inspired me, because he was the most down-to-earth and the most, straightforward guy. And he said, well, actually, you seem a little bit depressed and you seem tired all the time because you're spending all your efforts and your energy focusing on things that don't matter. And he said to me, what I can see, what I think your potential is, I think actually that's what this job needs. So why don't you just try that? Why don't you take a risk? So I did. I'm very talkative, so I started speaking up a lot in meetings if I thought something was going wrong. I started really taking responsibility for things I saw that were going wrong. I said, I can do that, I'll do it, why don't I do it? I started really engaging with people. I love meeting people, I love networking. For me, networking is like partying, so it's absolutely fine. And I love doing that and just working with people. So I did a lot of that, and things really turned around for me. So for me, that was a real lesson in knowing yourself. So I know who I am. I like to be quite extrovert. I like to work with people. I like to take on new challenges, and I like to look at things in a different way. Another part of knowing yourself, when I did my master's, I had a bit of a eureka moment, because I've always considered myself quite a technical soul, so engineering and fixing things, and I'm going to show those boys that I can be better at it. And I did my master's, which was actually about environmental design and saving the planet, and very different to what I'd been doing. And I realized that I absolutely loved it. So the second part of knowing yourself is, there's who you are, but actually what do you like to do? And I realized that for me, it's not about physics. And I mean, I love physics, Isaac Newton, yay. It's not about just all of that. It's actually about what makes me tick, what gets me out of bed in the morning. And so long as I have quite a difficult problem, saving the planet, easy peasy, so long as I can really look at it a different way, and so long as I can work with people, I can really, if I have those things, I I would love to work anywhere and do anything. So for me, that's given me a lot of confidence around knowing who I am and what environment I like to work in. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about is about being knowledgeable about the environment you work in. And Natasha talked about knowing what career options there are and how Tesco can support you. Tesco is a very complex environment. I joined 4 years ago, so I think I'm out of leadership, the baby. And I joined as sustainability manager, and I was then told to head up the environmental team, and I was told to take this really complex carbon plan and weave all the strands together and just come up with a way that Tesco could meet its targets. And I realized very quickly that I couldn't be successful in doing that unless I really engage with Tesco and what Tesco stands for, beg your pardon, and really understand what is it about myself and my own strengths, that what can I bring to that table. And that's what I did. Everybody I spoke to was very clear, and I think that's one of the fantastic things about working for Tesco. I've never known an organisation that was so articulate about what it believes what good looks like. So Tesco is very clear. It says these are the things we value. We really value a sharp mind. We really value achievement. We want you to deliver. We want you to perform. We really value all these leadership skills that underpins all of this. And we actually really value strong beliefs. And I thought, well, actually, these are things I can really connect with. And if I bring my knowledge and I bring my understanding of that environment and I bring those two things together, then I think that's a recipe for success. So that's what I believe. I believe combining the knowledge of who you are and what you can bring to the table, plus an understanding of the environment you're in, really equals a recipe for success and realizing your potential as much as you can in whatever project, whatever initiative, whatever you're working on, whatever idea you're trying to develop. So what I found really works is asking yourself, what are you good at? What do you find rewarding? What really makes you happy? Because that's when you're going to be energized. How can you leverage that to make a difference to the business that you work in? Because actually that's going to give you a real sense of achievement. What kind of career is suited to those things? Really being clear, what is it you want when you put all those things together, the ingredients in that recipe? And how can Tesco support that? Because we work in such an amazing and diverse organisation. There are so many opportunities, as you've heard today. And that brings me to the third thing I wanted to talk about, which is being really clear about what you want. And then I talked about being quite open and honest about that. So what that means is have a career plan, and several people have mentioned that today. Have a plan that really feeds into your own personal development and feeds into what you really want to get. And then share that with everybody around you who will listen. Share that with your line manager, share that with your mentors, share that with your coaches, and share that at your network events. So really, trying to be quick, those are the three things I wanted to talk about, because I believe that's what realizing your potential is. And as I said, I'm on a journey, so find me afterwards and tell me in Yoruba what else I need to do. Knowing myself and having the courage to be myself, being knowledgeable about the environment I work in, and being open and honest about what I want next. Thank you very much.